have done a wonderful job putting this together, and I'm delighted to be here this morning to support the Massachusetts chapter of Christians United for Israel. By the way, I hope you'll all be in Boston in about a month's time for the Honor Israel night. I would be there myself, except I have a prior commitment in Poland. But when they do it again next year, I'll definitely be on hand. By the way, the young man with the camera there is my son, Jonathan, who is the father of my granddaughter, Leah. And the other day, Leah is in her terrible twos. She'll be 3 years old the end of June. And, sometimes I'll try to get her to agree to do something. If I do something, she'll do something. I'll say, Leah, if I let you out of your room now, will you be a good girl? You're not going to go screaming around the house. You're not going to run upstairs. And she says, yes, Papa. And then the first thing she does when she gets out of the room, you know this, she runs upstairs screaming. And Jonathan said to me, Dad, trying to negotiate with Leah is like negotiating with the Palestinians. She'll promise you anything, and then as soon as your back is turned, she'll forget it, and she'll want more, and she'll never keep her promises. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are many good reasons for supporting Israel, and just looking at the audience this morning, the diversity of the audience, I think that's quite clear. For Jews, we recall Zion at the happiest and the saddest times of our lives. At the end of a Jewish wedding, some of you may know this, the groom breaks a glass to express our sadness at the destruction of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. This coming Monday evening, at the end of the Passover Seder, the Seder will conclude with the words, next year in Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. For serious Christians, support for Israel is biblical. Instead of weighing geopolitical considerations or heeding the advice of Jimmy Carter, Hamas's unofficial ambassador to the United States, they follow the scriptures, the Bible, end of story, period. I'm pleased to say that today some of Israel's most eloquent champions are Christians. Among them, Pastor John Hagee, who is the president of Christians United for Israel, William Bennett, Pat Robertson, Jerry Falwell, and former House Speaker Tom DeLay. To paraphrase an old ad for Levy's Rye Bread, you don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. Now, for conservatives, Israel is our only, I repeat, our only reliable ally in a region of implacable foes and false friends. For authentic liberals, Israel is a bastion of democracy and human rights in a part of the world largely bereft of either. However, there's another important reason for remembering Jerusalem, one that should resonate in the heart of every patriot. America and Israel are bound together by ties that transcend the temporal and stretch back in time to the very beginnings of Western civilization. For America to abandon Israel would be to abandon ourselves. America, ladies and gentlemen, has a noble tradition of standing up for the little guy. We know that the course of history often turns on the fate of small countries. Belgium in World War I, Czechoslovakia before World War II, and Taiwan and Israel today. It's easy to rationalize the betrayal of little countries. But when the great powers abandon small democracies to to appease tyrants or terrorists. They reap the whirlwind that follows in the wake of appeasement. Who thought the Czechs were worth fighting for at Munich, other than Winston Churchill, of course? Who thought the Poles were worth fighting for at Yalta? You know, it was Winston Churchill who said that an appeaser is one who feeds others to the crocodile in the hopes that they'll be eaten last. After feeding little countries to the crocodile in the 1930s, 1940s, and even the 1950s, the Western powers barely avoided being devoured themselves. Our honor was redeemed at a terrible cost in blood. Yet Israel has a special connection to America that neither Taiwan, nor Belgium, nor the Czech Republic have. Ladies and gentlemen, if you take only one thing from my remarks today, please remember this. America did not start in Philadelphia in 1776 or in 1787. America did not start at Plymouth in 1620. In a very real sense, America was founded at a mountain in the Sinai Peninsula over 3,000 years ago. America was founded on those values: liberty, justice, righteousness, first articulated in the Torah. The first settlers on these shores and the founding fathers alike were inspired by a Jewish worldview. Like the Israelites, the Pilgrims and Puritans believed that they too had come into a wilderness to found a new society, one dedicated to the vision of the Bible. When John Winthrop, the first governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colonies, said, "We shall be as a city upon a hill, the eyes of all people upon us," this was a biblical allusion. The first American holiday, Thanksgiving, is based on a commandment in Leviticus, when the children of Israel are told that after coming into the promised land and harvesting their first crops, they are to have a thanksgiving unto the Lord. So strong was this bond that Cotton Mather, the famous Puritan clergyman, wanted to make Hebrew the official language of the Massachusetts Bay Colony. In fact, Benjamin Franklin suggested for the Great Seal of the United States a depiction of Moses leading the children of Israel through the Red Sea. Daniel Webster, who served as a United States Senator from Massachusetts and then Secretary of State, Webster was born during the American Revolution and was very close, both chronologically and philosophically, to the Founding Fathers. Daniel Webster said of the Jews, quote, "I feel and have ever felt respect and sympathy for all that remains of that extraordinary people who preserved through the darkness of so many centuries the knowledge of one supreme spiritual being." And then Webster went on to say, quote, "The Hebrew Scriptures I regard as the fountain from which we draw all we know of the world around us and of our character and destiny as intelligent, moral, and responsible beings." Close quote. Daniel Webster, ladies and gentlemen, was echoing the words of John Adams, our second president, and another Massachusetts man, who declared, quote, "I will insist that the Hebrews have done more to civilize men than any other nation." Close quote.